Hello again. Today we're doing something completely different and unseen on this channel before. Today we're going to be talking about philosophy. Not the ideas of others, but of mine. And something that no one has ever thought of before. I swear, this isn't something that I read somewhere and then decided to shamelessly copy and then post on the internet. No, more likely it is one of the most basic ideas ever known to man that I have decided to overcomplicate within my own mind and then spew out, trying to make it at least semi-interesting for somebody else to enjoy. But that's beyond the point. What is this oh so spoken of idea? Box theory. What does that mean? It's basically just categorization, but with a twist. Now, box theory has rules that I'm still thinking of, even though I've been thinking about this for about 2 years. The main point of it is that everything, as in everything, like this is kind of the thing. Like, parts of this would count as a thing. Like, the rubber it's made of would count as a thing. All things can be placed into different sort of boxes. And I got two different sort of ideas for box theory, like an infinite version and a finite version. Now, infinite version would be this would be the natural conclusion of box theory, where, well, can't you just include everything within every single box? Because even if by the smallest margin you could technically include it somehow, like you could include this in a discussion about the moon, maybe because it's white. Maybe because its gravitational force has even the most minuscule effect on the moon. It could really be anything. That's the unfun version, even though it is the natural conclusion of the version. But for the fun version, you just play by the rules. You you can include this in a box about golf or Wii products or stuff like that. But this is where it really gets really fun. This is where it's more philosophical, where you get the idea where, well, how can I as a person really observe outside of whatever box I'm in? That's where it gets fun. Because let's say, like, whatever box you're gonna be in, you're gonna be what's the word? You're gonna be influenced by your surroundings within the box, and that will deceive your perception into a certain way. But if you're outside of it, without the non-objective parts of the box influencing your perception of it, then you get a more objective view of it. Like, let's say a discussion about if something looks good, like if a painting looks good, there could be a million different sides about it, and you could be within the box. You could be in this quadrant of the box. You can't exactly completely leave that because you still have the memory of you being within that part of the box, and that's going to cloud your judgment. Or you're going to hear other people's sides, and the way that they talk is going to disable your reasonable part of your brain to start thinking, well, maybe they got a point, because maybe they say, fuck you, you're ugly, that's why you can't understand how this painting looks amazing. And you're like, well, I was going to agree with you because, yes, this painting does look amazing, but now that you've personally insulted me, I'm not going to do that. But if you're outside of it, you get the complete view of it, because when you're within the box, all you get to see is your field of vision. And what I mean by that, you don't get to see from other perspectives. If you're outside of the box, you can observe from any side. You can observe it from 1 to a million infinite parts or of ideas, or a million different viewpoints. But when you're within it, you can't do that because you're affecting other things within the box. So you can never understand what it's like without you within it. Or, from another way of thinking about it, you can never really, I don't know, like, you can never be You can't be objective about it whenever you're within the box. Is that fun? No, it isn't. Let's get more fun. What if you're within a box, you think you get out of it, but it was a false idea of leaving the box? Bam. What up? This idea is what I've usually come back to every single time I think about this whole box theory shit. It always comes back to the idea of, can you ever truly leave a box once you're within it? No, you can't. You can't ever leave it. That's the problem. It's once you enter a box, even just just the color brown, just by saying that, you're already within the box. If you've never heard the word brown before, or you've never seen this thing before, now you're in the box. You can't leave. You're trapped forever you can't leave it, is what I'm saying. There's no real way of escaping a box. You can feel unstimulated by the box. You can feel away from the box. You might even think you're outside of it. You might even think that you're able to look at it from an objective view, but you can never leave. That's the issue. That it's so all-encompassing as an idea that it essentially just becomes irrelevant. Once everyone's within the box, then no one's in the box. But that's where it gets fun, where you start thinking about, whoa, what if something's outside of any boxes, but it still understands what the box is? You might think that you're that for a certain topic, like the color yellow. I don't know why I keep on coming back to colors, but let's think of a better one. Let's just say a book, the Bible. You might think that you are completely divorced emotionally, psychologically. You're not influenced by it anyway, but you're always going to be influenced. The people around you, the way that you were raised, the things that you see in everyday life has all been influenced, even in the most minuscule way. Hell, I would put it to a good universal bet that the color of certain things in the world are influenced based on the Bible. Somebody might have thought, I read this cool book and it describes really nice things like God or anything divine as glowing. So they start making things glow, or for other reasons, like it's dark outside and they decide to make it glow, or really anything. The main problem with any of these ideas is that they're so broad that they really just fall apart because they encompass everything. It's like saying water is wet. No shit, jackass. I already knew that. Or I guess a better analogy for that would be like, let me think of one. Well, I can't really think of one, but you get the idea. That these are so unimaginably broad that the only way you can really have any fun with them is if you break them. Like with box theory, what if you break outside of that? You can't. Then that's where you get the fun of it, where you can imagine some being or character that you want to be able to do that, to be completely outside of something, completely objective of something, completely differ from something else. It's completely alien to even think about. It's like a completely new color in ideas. Like, if something was to be outside of everything, would it even exist? Well, just because I mentioned it, that means it exists, even in the smallest way. That's a whole other idea that I've had, and this is just kind of gone on to a rant at this point, so I guess box theory is kind of just, I don't know, man. If you decided to stick long enough to hear this part of the video, I feel like you're committed enough to watch me, turn the wheels in my mind as I start to continue on about this. But, I guess if I really want to make box theory work, you gotta work with the finite version, where though it is infinite, we gotta just stick to the main components of whatever's within the box. Like, let's just say gym equipment yeah, technically everything's connected to gym equipment because you've seen a piece of gym equipment, so you're in the box. But it's barely even a box anymore. Instead of like a box, it's more like a center of purity that slowly gets fading as you leave it. So I guess the real box is wherever we want to draw the box. And I'm guessing that a real good place is about like right here. Because right here in the, gym equipment box is, right about like this, like in the inner core would be the purity of a treadmill. And on the outskirts of the box would be a shirt. Let's just say a branded gym shirt, like something that is designed or marketed to be specifically for gym stuff. And everything outside of that would be, uninteresting. It would be technically tangentially. I've wanted to say that word for so long. Tangentially related to gym equipment. But by the end of it, well, not by the end of it, I'm just kind of saying that out loud just to say words. But, yeah. Finite box theory is a lot more fun to play around with than infinite box theory because can't even call them box anymore because having corners fucks everything up. Having corners would imply that there are like certain areas that are just so far away, but they're also still within the box, even though that this is meant to be all circular and shit, like gravity. This is just gravity. I may have just redone gravity in a way worse way that has just taken so long so that people just listen to my voice for a while. Maybe I just did that. But I'm trying to figure out a way for this to work. Well, to make it fun, to make it like a bit more like, I don't fucking know, esoteric, if that makes it fun to listen to. Maybe. Box theory. I don't know, man. I guess if you're using finite box theory, there was always going to be overlap within the boxes. There's never going to be like some, you can't enter this box because you're in this box. It's always going to be connected somehow. Ass. Fuck. I was going to have a really good analogy for this where it's like, you think you're outside of a box, but you're never really be able to get out of it, even because you're just unstimulated by the activities within the box. Like, I don't know. If you haven't played video games for a while, and you think, oh, I'm just out of that, but then you see something really cool, and you're like, oh my fucking god, I want to go back to that right now. You're still in the box because you're still interested, at least a little bit, within to video games. It's still something that you care about. Or you can really just use it for anything. Like, you'll never be completely disinterested by you'll never be completely disinterested by everything. That might just be me, though. Because I'm just a little bit more open-minded, but I said there are definitely some people that, like, there has to be at least a single neuron within every person's brain that is accepting of anything. Anything. That's the best things in life, and that's the worst things in life. It has to be accepting of anything. I don't know what that really proves about box theory, though. So, I guess if you're really trying to get... Fuck. This always sounds way better in my head than it does, actually writing it down, so... Now what? Ah, shoot. I guess if you were to, like... Yeah. Give me a minute. I'm not going to pause the video. That's for pussies. Let's see. I guess. Just mentioning the boxes as a concept would place all boxes within a box. Or even just like, well, being the fact that they are boxes, or, well, not really box anymore. It's less of the traditional word boxes. It's more boxes. And that's just a concept that just starts off really strong in the center and just slowly gets less so the further you get away from it. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to use boxes for now. But, I guess, just by their state of being a box, they're all within one strict box of existence. But then again, that box of existence covers everything. And if existence is a spectrum, I'll probably make, if I ever want to do another one of these shitty videos again, I'll make something like that. But, or if existence is a binary term of it does exist and it doesn't exist. And just by the state of not existing, it does exist. So it's only existing. Like I said, is the infinite box then? It goes on forever. It just kind of depends on whether you want it to be the usual box in this sense, where it just continues on forever, getting lighter and lighter until it is infinitely small, but still in existence as a concept. Or if it is this fully encasing idea of existence that just everything ever will always exist, can always exist, and will continue to exist forever, and has always existed, including things that do not exist, seeing as just the mere mention of them as a thing that does not exist, it brings them into existence by acknowledging them in any sort of manner. Well, that kind of fucks the theory, doesn't it? Damn it. Well, it was fun doing this today. I might do another one. And I might ruin another one of my good ideas. I will see you all later.